what's up, guys? Welcome back to GetMuchHigherPodcasts. I'm Alex Robinson.
I'm Brad Budgeon.
And today we got another album review. Big shout out to everybody who watched the Kid Cudi review once again. That video was still growing. It's going phenomenally, so thank you for that. There's over 1,000 views, which is the first time. That felt great. Let's try it again this time. We're going to go back to our track-by-track reviews eventually, but for now, it's just another short-ish review because we didn't have too much time. Today we're reviewing PUSHA T's Darkest Before Dawn. I've been really excited for this album. I don't know about you.
I've been so excited since the trailer came out probably a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and
I heard
was
a little bit of Untouchable.
Yeah, I think it was actually all of Untouchable.
All of Untouchable?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, actually.
Yeah, and we heard that track, we listened to it together in the lab, and we were like, whoa, this isn't normal PUSHA T.
No, it's
like,
next level shit.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but actually, I guess we don't have to spoil anything because it's a track by track. Overall thoughts of this album?
Well, first, I just want to start by, if you don't know who PUSHA T is basically what he represents with his music is the voice of the streets. Like, everyone knows that he's a dealer. He's very open about his career, dealing cocaine, and that's sort of the angle he comes at every single time. That's his brand. It's just talking about, the game pretty much, and just like the different stories different experiences and stories, and sometimes bragging about selling more coke than he has records, and things like that. So it's more of that, and he sort of continues that, and he doesn't really go stale. You wanted to say something about the overall look of this album.
Yeah, straight away that would just be his rhyme scheme. Mm-hmm. Like when we listened to Untouchable before hearing the actual album, the first thing I noticed is that this is a rhyme scheme I haven't heard from PUSHA T before ever. It's like people often correlate rhyme scheme, like having really good rhyme schemes, with Eminem. Right? Eminem has crazy rhyme schemes. If you actually draw that shit out, color code that bitch, almost every word a lot of the time rhymes with another word, and that's just like this. Like crazy lyricism on top of that. Yeah. But just like it's almost like, I don't want to say he's putting more effort into it because I feel like PUSHA T has never really slacked.
I think he's just progressing.
Yeah, I think he's really showing his progression, and it might actually have to do with a lot with the fact that he's the president of good music now. He's got this big new boost of confidence. He's feeling fantastic, and so he's stepped his game up. Yeah, and it's really obvious.
One thing I noticed about this particular album, like I said, like he raps about hustling. He raps about selling coke and things like that, and from that perspective. And he does that on every single song in this one, and pretty much every song he's ever made. But the thing is, he never really gets stale because he's able to switch up his flows. He's able to maybe change his rhyme schemes, change his references enough to keep it interesting and keep it going. So you still want to continue listening. It's far too common with certain rappers, Drake. If you rap about the same things over and over and over again, and you're saying the same words, and you aren't really switching up the flow and the style, it just gets old and very, very unengaging. And I didn't get that with this album.
No, me neither. And favorite tracks on this album? I'm going to get right into that. Actually, first of all, one thing this album does that I really enjoy, that a lot of albums do not do, but I always stress when they do. The intro felt like an intro, and the outro felt like an outro. And I love that because it actually makes it feel like an experience as opposed to an album. Like, this is something you're supposed to listen to the entirety of the way through as opposed to just being singles. One thing though, track number 8, which I think was called Retribution, I think that should have been the intro. It had a really good beat progression, introduced it like it was introducing something more than just a single, and then the outro to that song just felt like it should have went bang right into Untouchable. And
that would have been actually really good.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. That would have been a really good intro to this track. But my favorite tracks overall, I'm going to say Keep Dealing was my first favorite song, and MFTR, the one that J. Cole produced. Kanye was on it, The Dream was on it, Rocky was on it. I liked that song a lot too. Yeah. Only complaint was that Kanye and Rocky actually did the hook on
that was
song.
MPA.
MPA? Oh, yeah, MPA, sorry. And Kanye and Rocky did the hook on that song, which was good, and I think they killed it. It was a really cool, kind of different side of what we'd expect from Kanye and Rocky. But at the same time, I think that if you put a Kanye verse or a Rocky verse, maybe just like Kanye and Rocky going back and forth or something.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of that song, it would have been my favorite song. It would have been on my fucking favorites list on my fucking iPod for I don't know how long.
Yeah, I thought that song needed a Kanye verse. verse.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Kanye has the right voice and just the right sort of aura about him.
Yeah.
Sort of come into that song, because it is a little bit more of a meaningful song. It's not just a throwaway or just something that's like, a filler kind of song. It's a meaningful, important song to the album. And it's an important beat to him, because he did tweet out a few days ago about how hard it was to get that beat from J. Cole.
Yeah.
And I just would have liked to see maybe just something else to put it over the top. Still a good song. One thing about the beats on this album, not one beat is alike, but they all go together. Like they all do mesh, and they come from the same sort of vibe, same sort of feel.
That's one thing I was gonna say, is that even though, for example, the J. Cole beat is not Pusha T's, it almost like if I heard any of these beats and you were like, do you think this is on the Pusha T album? I'd be like, yeah, that sounds really Pusha T. And I think that this one, this album doesn't get boring, it doesn't get stale, but at the same time, it finds a really safe way to stay true to the art, which is really cool. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like he had it seemed like he really had a clear vision of what he wanted this album to be and what he wanted it to sound like, and sort of the feel of the album. And overall, I think each beat was really good. Each beat had really good progression. Just that beat that you were talking about, the MFTR.
Yeah.
Or sorry, MPA.
MPA was track number 3.
Was that?
Oh, no, MPA was track number 5. Sorry.
Yeah. That's the J. Cole one. With the J. Cole one, it was like constantly progressing and regressing. Yeah. Like, it just never got old. Even though the song felt like it was a little long, like a little bit longer than the other ones, but it just never got old.
Yeah, I think there was maybe one song on this album that kind of got stale after a while, but then they switched it up. But do you know which one?
Got 'Em Covered. Yeah, Got 'Em Covered. Yeah, that was the one.
And
that was the one with like the noisy kind of different beat. It's sort of like industrial, noisy rap.
And then we had a really cool beat for track 10, the outro. Really great subject matter, by the way, touching on some real serious subjects, which I enjoyed a lot. And also a really interesting hook. It was like a cool vocals, but the vocals were super off key. And I almost felt like that was like a purposeful thing, because of how off key the subject matter was. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it did fit. It definitely fit. It was a great outro. I thought the beat was off the chain on that one. Off the chain, who says that anymore? But overall, like, I think it added, like you said at the beginning, it added finality to the album. It just sort of, when it was done, like, you really felt like it was done. Yeah. Overall, did you want to give this one a grade?
Ooh, I do. What do we rate the documentaries and the Redman album?
I think the Redman one, I personally think I did 8.2 or 8.25 for the Redman, and then 8.5 for disc 1 of the documentary 2.
This is an 8.7.
8.7?
8.8.
I'm gonna give this one a solid 8 for me. For it to be a 10, I feel like maybe the album should have been a little bit longer, maybe a couple more tracks, and just some features to put it over the top. Like I said, like if there was a A$AP Rocky feature where you actually put a verse in, if there was a verse from Kanye, if there was maybe a verse from Jay-Z on that one song, I can't remember which one.
I think, that's me differentiating my 8.8 between a 9 is simply, he had good features, strong features that should have been on this album, but they weren't where they should have been.
Yeah.
Or at least he could have branched more off of what he had.
And also, like he is Pusha T and he does make certain kinds of music, but I would like to see maybe a different type of song, like maybe a happy-go-lucky song on this album, maybe, a love song, like a R&B-esque kind of song over here.
Yeah, like really switch it up. Cool.
Yeah, just see different angles. That's what's keeping it from being a 10 in my mind. But overall, I think you should listen to this album. Yeah. I think it's got really, really strong subject matter. It's a really raw sounding album where you get a lot of good tracks on one album. Yeah, because of that.
And just fucking bars too. Bars I haven't heard from Pusha T before. Like, this shit actually blew me away. Untouchable is like the perfect example of lyricism and crazy ass fucking rhyme scheme and
storytelling.
Storytelling too.
That's one thing about Pusha T that separates him from everybody else in this current state of hip hop, is just because with Pusha T being, the only rapper right now who can actually talk about the streets firsthand. Like, you know, like, and he's not like Young Thug or whatever, anybody else who might be able to do that and just mumbles. He's actually come with bars and actually rapping.
I think we're gonna end it there.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say?
No. I think that's it. That's it for me.
Awesome.
Happy holidays.
We're gonna let this bro that's trying to get into the room in then, I guess.
Yeah.
See you guys later. Probably not gonna post for a while because I'm gonna be in Grand Forks and he's gonna be.
We'll try to set something up. We'll try to set something up.
We'll see what happens.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, share,
and check out the album
enjoy.
description.
Yeah,
Bye.
exactly. Peace.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to GetMuchHigherPodcasts. I'm Alex Robinson.
I'm Brandon Budgeon.
And today we got another album review. Big shout out to everybody who watched the Kid Cudi review once again. That video is still growing. It's going phenomenally, so we don't have to spoil anything because it's in a track by track. Overall thoughts of this album?
Well, first I just want to start by, if you don't know who Pusha T is basically what he represents with his music is the voice of the streets. Like
Doing Pusha T's Darkest Before Dawn. I've been really excited for this album. I don't know about you.
I've been so excited since the trailer came out probably a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and
I
that
heard
was
a little bit of Untouchable.
Yeah, I think it was actually all of Untouchable.
All of Untouchable?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, actually.
Yeah, and we heard that track, we listened to it together in the lab, and we were like, whoa, this isn't normal Pusha T.
No, it's
like,
next level shit.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but actually, I guess thank you for that. There's over 1,000 views, which is the first time. That felt great. Let's try it again this time. We're going to go back to our track-by-track reviews eventually, but for now, it's just another short-ish review because we didn't have too much time. Today we're